Why the hell is everyone so down on New Year's resolutions? Yes, okay, so we're probably only making them based on the media telling us how we should look or how we should feel rather than what we actually want. And yes, so we're probably going to end up creating unrealistic targets and setting ourselves up to fail and feel bad about ourselves. And yes, we're probably only doing it now because the 1st of January arrived on the calendar and it was now or never, so we're not necessarily ready to make these changes yet. But yeah, now I think about it, New Year's resolutions really are a idea, aren't they? But they don't have to be if we do them right. I'm Tim Box, and this is why New Year's resolutions fail and how this time we make sure we succeed. So here we are in 2022, and if you're anything like the vast majority of the population, you've either made or are looking to make some New Year's resolutions and maybe set some goals for the next 12 months. Funnily enough, you might have already found that the resolutions you set for the coming year greatly resemble the ones you set last year but didn't manage to do. Research suggests that the vast majority of New Year's resolutions are abandoned in the first few weeks. That being said, I'm a fan of setting a New Year's resolution or two, and I'm definitely a fan of drawing up some goals and targets for the coming 12 months. I think the real reason this process gets such a bad press is because most of us are gearing ourselves up for failure by setting our goals and resolutions in the wrong way. And when I say the wrong way, what I mean is that we fail to answer 3 important questions when deciding what we're aiming for. The first one is, why do I want to do this? Statistically speaking, the 2 main reasons New Year's resolutions fail is because we either set ourselves unrealistic goals or we just conveniently forget to stick to them. How weird is that? Something we were so resolute about and we just forgot. This happens because we weren't making this change for the right reasons. We didn't value this change, and so we failed to remain focused and very quickly lost interest in it. Maybe we were only doing this because others around us were doing it. Maybe we were doing it because we'd read somewhere that this would make us happy.
I'm totally getting it!
Maybe we were just clutching at straws when it came to setting some goals for the new year, and the things we came up with just weren't really that important to us. Look, if you don't have anything important you want to achieve right now, then don't set yourself any resolutions. You'll just stop doing what you intended to do in double quick time and feel bad about yourself for failing. But if you're setting yourself some targets, goals, or resolving to make changes, then always ask yourself why you're doing this. What is the benefit to you? If you have a good, strong why, then you've got a great chance of remaining motivated through whatever challenges you face to get there. Highlighting this why can also be the thing that you remind yourself of to keep you motivated as you go. So for example, don't decide to quit smoking just because your other half is always going on at you to stop. That's not a good enough reason. Do what you want to do for your reasons. Only the right personal motivation will see you achieve your goals. The second question you need to ask yourself is, why haven't I already done this? Right now probably isn't the first time you've thought of making this change. So why haven't you done it yet? The answer to this question will tell you what psychological and environmental barriers are currently in the way of you achieving what you want to achieve. Whenever we endeavour to make radical changes in the way we think, feel, or behave, we will inevitably come up against challenges along the way. If we want to break a bad habit or encourage a better one, we need to work out what locks us in the behaviour that we currently have. Do we want to eat healthier but have failed in the past because we couldn't find time in our schedule to meal prep and ended up just eating junk? Did we want to stop smoking but a cigarette seemed to be the only way of dealing with the stress at work? Did we want to get fit but disliked training so much that we just lost motivation? Whatever the reason, we haven't yet done this, we will need to address that reason and take the necessary steps to make sure it won't be a factor this time. Otherwise, we're just doing the same thing and expecting different results, which I'm pretty sure a wise man once described as the very definition of insanity. The third question you need to ask yourself is, what will this change look like? It's one thing expressing an intention, it's another thing to action it. How many times have you resolved to do something only to find that you hadn't really thought through how it was going to happen? We resolved to go for a run every morning, and then on day one it feels just a little too cold to get out of bed this early. We say we're going to stop drinking, but then feel left out in the pub with our glass of orange juice whilst all our friends seem to be having a great time getting drunk. If we're going to set realistic goals, we have to get real about how we're going to implement them, and that involves conceptualizing the day-to-day actions you're going to take to achieve them. Part of deciding what you want to change and successfully making that change involves working through the pitfalls in your mind and coming up with the necessary strategies to overcome them. Also, one additional question you might want to ask yourself before you do decide on any sort of resolution or change is, am I worth this change? Now, spoiler warning, the answer is yes, but for God's sake, make sure you believe it, or any efforts to upgrade the way you respond are going to fall flat. If you don't care enough about you, then you won't do what you need to do. So now we've dealt with the 3.5 questions you need to ask yourself, let's offer up some things to remember that will serve as brief tips for staying on track. The problem with goals is that whilst on our way to our target, we are in a constant state of failure because we only achieve our goal at the very end. This can be demotivating. However, the good thing about a goal is that if you know where you're going, then you know if you're heading in the right direction. And perhaps more importantly, when you're going in the wrong direction. Get around the whole state of failure problem by, instead of focusing on the end goal, simply focus on doing what you need to do one day at a time. If we break our big goal into mini goals and go one step at a time, we have a much better chance of perpetuating our motivation. Every day we achieve is a win, and any day we don't isn't a huge loss, just a single day. Okay, so being aware that you will fail, that sounds a bit grim, but this is actually a more positive point than you might think. The big hurdle with New Year's resolutions is that day when we don't go for the run, or the moment we break the diet or smoke the sneaky cigarette. All too often, if we fail once, we frame that as complete failure and we just give up. By having already set our long-term goals, breaking them down into smaller increments, then we get to allow ourselves the days when we do things wrong. It's more than likely we will all have those days. However, if instead of a total fail, it's just a single unit written off and we can get back on it the following day, then those slip-ups don't need to sabotage our entire effort. In this way, being prepared to at times fail is ultimately how we prepare to succeed. The simple truth is that if we keep going, we always get there. The main reason people don't achieve their goals is because at some point they decided to stop. I've heard success defined as the ability to move from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. So how do we avoid losing enthusiasm? Well, assuming you've set things up correctly, so you've made sure the changes are the ones you truly want, you've addressed why you didn't succeed before, and you know exactly how you're going to do things better this time, then the answer is always the same. Be kind to yourself. All too often we have a single failure and spend so much energy and focus beating ourselves up for that failure that we entirely convince ourselves we're either not worth it or not capable of doing it. In truth, every trip and fall is an opportunity to learn the right way to take the next step. Your success in implementing your resolutions and achieving your goals will depend largely on how you react when things go wrong. It won't all go perfectly. If you were perfect, you wouldn't need to change anything. So accept that there will be mistakes and don't beat yourself up when they happen. This will stop you wasting time and energy on self-castigation and keep your attentions focused in the direction you're heading, appreciating the value of every step along the way. There are 101 reasons not to set New Year's resolutions, and even more ways than that they can go wrong when we do. But if you've set some goals for 2022, if you've stared the ongoing global pandemic in the face, recognized all the unexpected obstacles that have and will be placed in your way, and decided you're plowing on regardless, if you have the inclination and the determination to set your targets and go full tilt in pursuit of them, then I say more power to you. We can't control what challenges life will choose to throw at us, but we can decide how we respond. So if you're responding to the last 2 years with renewed resolve and the desire to achieve something worthwhile this year, then go for it. Good luck to us all, and let's do something good with 2022. I hope this video has been of value. Let me know in the comments what targets and goals you've set yourself this year, and let's go get them together. Please hit that thumbs up button if you like what I do, share the video on your socials, and why not subscribe to the channel for weekly mind management tips and anxiety advice. But that's it for now. I'm Tim Box, Mind Coach. Always remember to be kind to your mind, have a happy new year, and I'll see you next time. you.